Feeling like a shark in a shrimp tank. Big fish, small pond in the shrimp tank.
Welcome to the post-show wrap-up of the Shrimp Tank. I'm Brad Berger along with my co-host Dan Whedon. Our guest today is Chyna Willman with Grit City Wellness and Eden Immersion. We just had an intriguing and fun conversation with Chyna. To listen to the entire podcast, visit us at shrimptankpodcast.com/Seattle or subscribe to our podcast on iTunes, iHeartRadio, Spotify, and Google Podcasts. We're always interested in your feedback, so please do not forget to rate us. So, Chyna, how is Grit City Wellness different?
Well, it's the first of its kind. We're looking at a holistic health environment, really a wellness club centered around the idea that you know what your body needs today and possibly tomorrow. We're going to offer you guidance, but access to tools that either are tried and true or modern and cutting edge. The idea is that we integrate ancient practices with modern technology, with your body and your mind being of infinite wisdom, right?
So one of the things, Chyna, that I'm fascinated with when I was digging through your website was cryotherapy. And in my mind, only maybe from what I've seen on television shows or something where somebody gets locked in one, my vision is that you're going into this incredibly frigid place. You're locked up tight like you're in a tanning booth, and then you come out and you're freezing and they have to defrost you. That obviously doesn't sound right. Can you educate me and everybody else on what cryotherapy is in your world?
Well, first, it doesn't lock. I think that's really important to clarify.
Oh, good.
No one wants to be in anything that cold that also has a locking mechanism.
Okay, good.
It's still a pretty new therapeutic, right? There are not a lot of people that have done it, but more and more people know about it now than have known about it in the previous years. Traditionally, people are familiar with the nitrogen application, and it's pretty uncomfortable. Honestly, I didn't like the nitrogen experience at all. Physiologically, my body did. Psychologically and environmentally, I didn't enjoy the nitrogen experience at all. From a business perspective, nitrogen is a no-go. It is absolutely not where to put your dollars because as I see it, it evaporates literally in thin air. That's terrifying to me. Beyond just the difficulties there. So we entered into this treatment practice with electric and with one of the first electric US manufactured machines available in the marketplace, which was definitely an undertaking and totally worth it. The experience is bar none, a superior experience. It is a thoughtful experience. I'm a particularly modest person. I'm not an athlete that feels comfortable taking off her clothes, having people just kind of work on their foot, openly in front of other people, like a lot of other athletes are. And that's who, a lot of people see utilize this particular treatment. But my point of view is that the treatment is incredibly beneficial for people of all walks of life, ages, and physical abilities and challenges. And so what we did is we created an environment where we can walk you through the process. It's actually a really easy process. It's like walking into a refrigerator. And if you've ever waited tables and went into the walk-in to scream occasionally, like I used to, it's kind of similar to that. You just walk in, it's very cold. Your hands and your feet and your nose and your ears are protected because those are delicate. And we, of course, don't want you to touch the walls of the floor with your bare skin. And you are in the environment for about 3.5 minutes. Once you exit, again, you're alone in the room. You can lock the door to the room, after we've walked you through the process. And it's your private space. So that is, a superior experience than nitrogen altogether. And it's safer. It is so much safer than nitrogen. And I would say more importantly, safety is most important. But secondary with nitrogen, if you've noticed that their head is sticking out, and I don't know about you, but almost all of my pain, like blinding pain, is in my neck and upper back. And with nitrogen, having your head stick out and you're only getting cold maybe up to your chest, you're not addressing those areas. Like your shoulder, for example, would never get addressed properly in a nitrogen chamber. Whereas whole body cryotherapy, the cold actually comes from above. And so not only do you hit your upper back and your neck and your whole body, but you hit the vagus nerve, which goes right through the back of the neck. Vagus nerve is attached to all the primary organs in your core. That is absolutely going to promote that fight or flight response, which is what we're after in whole body cryotherapy. When you go into fight or flight, but you come out before there's any issue with your body, you dump serotonin and dopamine and norepinephrine. And those are like the magic bullets with whole body cryo.
Thank you.
Well,
That's awesome.
That's great.
Yeah, so Chyna, we also talked a little bit about the fact that we've just come through COVID, and during the show, I asked the question, which is, what happened during COVID, right? Changes or things that you needed to address that you feel will be with us even when we open back up.
Yeah, it was. I'm absolutely bowled over by the relationships that have developed and flourished during COVID for me, even if they have been afar or through Zoom. I think community and being supported by one another, delegating, not trying to do everything on your own or live in your bubble. That's what's changed for me, and I see it with other people that I know. I think it's time to really look at things in a more collaborative way. The ideal of like it takes a village is real. We need each other. And it's time to really be okay with continuing to lean on each other the way that we have.
Well, Chyna, we want to absolutely thank you for having taken part in our podcast. For those who are watching this and say, I want to learn more, how do they do it?
Go to our website, gritcitywellness.com or EdenImmersion.com. There is contact information there. There's also the ability to text 24 hours a day.
I'm going to highly recommend to everybody who's watching and listening to this to go to those websites. They are awesome. I love how they're laid out. I love how it talks about the cross, applicability, I'll call it, of the various services that are provided and what areas specifically they address. It's really, really awesome. So once again, this is just a taste of what you can expect by listening to the entire podcast. Visit shrimptankpodcast.com/Seattle or subscribe to our podcast on iTunes, iHeartRadio, Spotify, and Google Podcasts. We'd love to hear from you, so please do not forget to rate us. Thank you to all of our Shrimp Peeler sponsors and you, our loyal listeners.
So, Brad, our next show will be on Wednesday, March 24th, 2 weeks from today, where our guest will be actually somebody that Chyna recommended, Jessica Price with Mad Ritual. Can't wait to talk to Jessica. Make sure you check out shrimptankpodcast.com. Watch, listen, rate, give us a 5, all of that stuff. Because for today, for right now, the hay, it's in the barn.
I've been feeling like a shark in a shrimp tank. Big fish, small pond.